The Crystal Shopping Center is emptying. The bright daylight from the glass dome fades, replaced by the cool glow of neon lights. Down below, on the ground floor, only one figure moves. It's Taylor. She arrives for her evening shift. She's wearing dark, comfortable pants, a gray t-shirt with the cleaning company's logo, and chunky sneakers. Her long, dark curls are pulled back into a tight bun. She's pushing a cart filled with mops, buckets, and rags. The cart rattles slightly in the quiet of the large room, the sound echoing through the high ceilings. Taylor begins her usual route. First, the central atrium. She passes the closed blinds of expensive boutiques, past the dark screen of a movie theater. Her gaze habitually glides over the marble floor, searching for stains, cigarette butts, and forgotten pieces of paper. The floor is almost perfect. The daily cleaners have done a good job. She turns toward the fountain. It's already turned off. The water doesn't gurgle. The large, round bowl of dark stone stands silent and empty, and that's where Taylor stops. At the edge of the fountain, with his back to her, stands a small boy. He is completely alone. Not a soul is around. His red hair, bright as copper, seems unnatural under the lamplight. He does not move. He does not cry. He does not call. He simply stares into the dark water of the fountain. Taylor blinks, her brain trying to process the image. A child, alone, at night, in a huge, empty mall. This breaks all the rules. This can't happen. Where are his parents? The nanny? Someone has to be there. She looks around. The wide atrium is empty. The escalators have stopped. Even the music that usually plays in the background is turned off today. Only the quiet hum of the ventilation systems. Taylor slowly pushes the cart aside, so as not to startle the boy. She takes a few cautious steps forward, her sneakers making no sound on the marble. Now she can see the boy better. He looks about 5 years old. He's wearing light blue jeans, a red hoodie, and tiny blue sneakers with light-up heels. The light isn't on. He's simply standing there, his arms at his sides. His shoulders are shaking slightly. And then Taylor notices the toy. At his very feet, on the cold marble, lies a plastic dinosaur, a bright green Tyrannosaurus Rex with stupid, kind eyes. It has fallen on its side, one paw suspended in midair. It looks like the boy just let go of it. Taylor approaches cautiously. She doesn't want to startle him from behind. She makes a small circle to get into his line of sight from the side. "Hello," she says quietly, almost in a whisper. The boy doesn't react. His gaze is glued to the water in the fountain. But Taylor sees his face, pale skin, a scattering of freckles across his nose and cheeks, long eyelashes. He's handsome, and he looks completely lost. Taylor slowly squats down. She reaches out not for the boy, but for the toy. She picks up the green dinosaur. The plastic is cold. "Yours?" she asks, showing the toy. The boy finally tears his gaze away from the fountain. His large, dark eyes look at the dinosaur, then slowly rise to Taylor. He nods. One short nod. Taylor stands up. She holds the toy in her hand and looks at the boy. He is so small. Her heart clenches. She knows this feeling, to be small and lost in a big world. She remembers it all too well. "He's cool," Taylor says, shaking the dinosaur gently. "What's his name?" The boy is silent for a second. Then his lips move. "Rex," he breathes out so quietly that Taylor almost doesn't hear. "That's a great name for a T-Rex," she smiles. Her smile is warm, natural. She often smiles like that at children when she sees them with their parents during her shifts. But now the smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. Inside, she feels anxious. Taylor puts the dinosaur in the pocket of her work jacket. She doesn't want it to fall again. "What's your name?" she asks, keeping a safe distance. She doesn't tower over him, but stands slightly to the side, giving him some room to maneuver. The boy looks at her. His gaze is searching. He sees her uniform, the mop cart. He sees her face. He seems to be deciding whether he can trust her. "Finn," he says more clearly. His voice is thin and clear. "Nice to meet you, Finn. I'm Taylor." She lowers herself back down to his eye level, squatting. This is her usual gesture with children, to be on equal terms with them, not to overwhelm them with her height. "Are you here alone, Finn? Where is your mom or dad?" At the word dad, Finn's face changes. His lower lip trembles slightly. His eyes begin to shine. He looks again at the empty fountain, then around the great hall. "I lost him," he says. His voice breaks. "We were looking at the fish. Then he told me to wait. I waited, but he didn't come." He pauses, swallowing hard. He's trying so hard not to cry. Taylor can see the struggle on his face. "Okay, everything's fine. she says calmly. We'll find him. He's probably already looking for you. You were good to stay put. But it's already dark and cold here by the fountain. Let's go where there's more light, and I'll help you find him. Deal? Finn looks at her outstretched hand. Not at the hand itself, but at the empty space in front of it. He hesitates. Dad said not to leave with anyone, he whispers. Your dad's absolutely right, Taylor agrees immediately. That's the most important rule. But we're not leaving right now. We're going to the information desk. It's a place right here in this building. There are people there with a big microphone. They can call your dad's name across the entire mall. He'll hear it and come running. We'll just take a few steps. I'll be right there with you the whole time. And Rex will be with us, too. She takes the dinosaur out of her pocket and shows it to Finn again. It's a familiar, safe object in a strange situation. Finn looks at the dinosaur, then at Taylor's face. He nods slowly, very slowly. His small hand finds hers. His fingers are cold. Taylor carefully helps him down the low edge of the fountain. She doesn't let go of his hand. She leaves her cart by the fountain. The buckets and mops can wait. They walk through the empty atrium. Finn's footsteps are quiet. Taylor hears only the rustle of his jacket. She leads him to the information desk next to the main entrance. The desk is closed with metal bars. Beyond the bars, darkness. Taylor sighs. Of course, the administration had already left. She knows there's a hotline at security, but the security post is in the basement, accessible by a service staircase. Dragging a frightened child down there isn't the best idea. She notices a payphone on the wall, an old-fashioned one, with an emergency number for the center. She leads Finn to it. Wait here for a second, okay? I'll call the people who work here. They'll call your dad. Finn nods. He hugs the dinosaur Taylor returned to him. It looks so small against the huge, shiny wall. Taylor picks up the phone. She dials a short number. The ring is long and monotonous. Finally, the phone on the other end picks up. Quote 0, says a male voice. Emotionless. Quote 1. There's a pause on the other end. You can hear someone hanging up the phone. What's the baby's name? The same voice asks. Taylor looks at Finn. What's your dad's name, Finn? Dad, says the boy. His full name for the announcement? Finn looks at her, not understanding. Dad, he repeats, and the panic in his voice is again evident. Okay, fine, Taylor says quickly. Then into the phone. The kid just calls him Daddy. The boy himself is Finn. Red hair, freckles, blue jeans, red sweatshirt. He's at the payphone by the main entrance. His dad is probably somewhere downtown. Another pause. A whisper can be heard, as if the voice is turning away from the receiver to say something to someone else. The message has been transmitted, the voice finally says. Dryly, formally. Stay where you are. Someone will come. Click. The line breaks. Taylor hangs up slowly. No one said thank you. No one said how long it would take for them to come. No one asked if the baby was okay. Just, message delivered. It's cold, like this marble floor. She turns to Finn and puts on her warm smile again. Everything is fine. They'll be here soon. Let's wait here. They wait a minute. 2. The silence seems even louder. Finn begins to fidget. He peers around Taylor's leg, scanning the room. How long will they last? He asks quietly. Soon, Taylor answers, although she's not sure. And then she notices them. From the far end of the atrium, away from the escalators, 2 men approach. They're wearing the blue uniforms of shopping center security, pants, a shirt with chevrons, and walkie-talkies on their belts. But something's wrong. First of all, Taylor knows almost all the guards on the evening shift by sight. There's Jerry, the fat, good-natured one, and a young man named Lewis. These 2 are strangers, tall, broad-shouldered. Secondly, they don't walk with the usual work gait. They walk quickly, purposefully. Their eyes are fixed on Taylor and Finn. Taylor feels a chill run down her spine. She instinctively places her hand on Finn's shoulder, pulling him closer. The men approach. The first has short dark hair and a stony, unsmiling face. The second is lighter, with hard eyes that instantly glide over Finn, then over Taylor. Did you call about a missing child? The first one asks. His voice is low, without intonation. Yes, Taylor says. She tries to sound confident. The boy is lost. His name is Finn. We're waiting for his father. The second guard squats down in front of Finn. His movement is abrupt. Hey man, are you alone? Finn presses himself against Taylor's leg. He nods silently. Quote 0. The second guard says, not looking at Taylor. Quote 1. He reaches out to take Finn's hand, but Finn backs away. He hides his face in Taylor's jacket. No! Taylor hears his muffled whisper. I want to be with her. The first guard looks at Taylor, his gaze heavy and assessing. We'll take it here. You can get back to work. Thank you for your help. His words are polite, but his tone is commanding. There's not a drop of genuine gratitude in it. The anxiety in Taylor's chest tightens into a tight, cold knot. Everything is wrong. Their faces, their walk, their voices, and the way Finn reacted. He wasn't afraid of the situation, but of them. Quote 2. But these people are in uniform. They have to be safe. So his dad wasn't warning him about strangers in general, but about specific people, maybe even about people in uniform. An icy thought pierced Taylor's mind. These people didn't come to help. They came for Finn. The second guard tries to take Finn's hand again, this time more insistently. Come on, kid. Don't keep us waiting. Taylor acts before she can think. Her hand comes down on top of the guard's, gently but firmly pushing it away. It's okay, she says, her voice surprisingly calm. He's scared. I'll calm him down. We'll wait here together for his father. He said he was close. She looks straight into the eyes of the first guard, the one who seems to be in charge. She's lying, and she sees something flicker in his eyes. Irritation? Impatience? Quote 0, he says, stepping forward. He's too close now. Taylor feels the threat emanating from him, like physical pressure. Her instincts scream, "Run! Now!" She leans towards Finn, not taking her eyes off the men. "Finn," she whispers quickly, "remember what I told you about Dad? He just called my secret number. He's waiting for us at the special door, the one where the trucks come in, the one we went into when we brought Rex in the box. Remember?" She's making it up as she goes. She needs to give Finn a relatable, childlike image. Quote 1. Quote 2. He might have seen the service entrance. Finn looks at her, his eyes wide. Does he hear the lie in her voice? See the fear on her face? But he nods. Just once. Briefly. He trusts her more than these men. Okay, Taylor says loudly, straightening up. She looks at the guards again. He remembered. His dad's waiting at stage door B. I know where it is. I'll take him there. It'll be quicker. She doesn't wait for permission. She takes Finn's hand, turns, and takes the first step. Not toward the main exit, but along the wall, away from the guards. Quote 3. A voice comes from behind. Sharp, commanding. Quote 4. But Taylor isn't listening anymore. The only thought in her head is to get away from them. Now! She quickens her pace, almost dragging Finn along with her. Behind her, she hears quick, heavy footsteps. They're following them. Underscore quote? Underscore 0, underscore, she whispers. And this time there's real fear in her voice. She turns sharply around the corner, into a narrow corridor leading to the restrooms and the mother and child room. This isn't the exit. It's the way deeper into the building. The footsteps behind me also turn away. They are close. Taylor sees a gray, nondescript door marked staff. She pushes it with her shoulder. The door creaks open. Beyond it lies a concrete staircase and the smell of cleaning products. A maze of utility rooms. She drags Finn in with her and slams the door. There's no lock, just a latch. She looks around in panic. She sees a heavy metal trash can. Blocking the door with it would be too noisy and take too long. Quote 2, she commands Finn. They run down the stairs one flight. It's dim here. Only dim emergency lights are on. The same gray doors are on all sides. A storage room, an electrical room, a room for cleaning equipment, her room. Footsteps sound upstairs. The door opens. Light from the atrium briefly cuts through the darkness of the stairwell. Check the corridors! A muffled voice comes. Taylor presses Finn against the cold concrete wall. Her heart is pounding so loudly, she thinks she can hear it throughout the entire floor. Finn presses himself against her, his small body trembling. He's not crying. He's frozen, like a rabbit scenting a wolf. She had to think. Where could she hide? The inventory room would be the first place they'd check. She needed to move on, to the real service exits, to the truck docks. There were exits to the street there, but they might be locked from the outside. The creak of another door comes from above. They're already here, on this level. Taylor has no choice. She opens the nearest door. Beyond is a tiny room filled with cardboard boxes and old mannequins. It smells of dust. She leads Finn inside and closes the door, leaving a narrow gap. Through the crack, she sees the beam of a flashlight cutting through the darkness of the corridor. Footsteps are heard. They are slow, methodical. The guard is checking every door. Taylor freezes, holding her breath. Finn's hand grows cold in hers. They both stare into the crack, like a scary movie screen. A black boot with a blue leg stops right in front of their door. The flashlight's light glides across the crack in the door. Taylor freezes. She feels a cold bead of sweat trickle down her back. Finn's hand squeezes her fingers so tightly it hurts. She's afraid to even blink. The black boot stands there for a few seconds. It seems like an eternity. Then the sole creaks. The guard turns and steps forward, toward the next door. The flashlight's light fades. Taylor doesn't move. She listens. The footsteps fade away. A minute later, the sound of the stairwell door opening and closing is heard. Then silence. Are they still here? Or have they gone to check another floor? Taylor carefully opens the door. The hallway is empty. The dim yellow light of the emergency light casts everything in dirty shadows. She leads Finn out of hiding. "Quiet," she whispers right in his ear. "Let's go." She doesn't know the building that well anymore. She only works on the main floor. But she remembers one time accidentally exiting through the utility block into the backyard. She needs to go down. She leads Finn down another flight of stairs. It's even darker and colder here. The air smells of damp and oil. They find themselves in a narrow, concrete-walled corridor. On one side are huge steel doors, probably for trucks. On the other, a row of ordinary doors. Taylor tries one of the steel doors. It's locked with a heavy internal bolt. The other one is too. Her heart clenches with panic. They're trapped in the basement. Finn tugs at her arm. He looks at one of the ordinary doors. There's no sign on it, just chipped paint. "There," he says quietly. "You are sure?" He nods. Taylor presses the handle. The door gives way. Beyond it lies not a room, but another short corridor, ending in a tall door with a glass top. The dim light of a street lamp can be seen through the dirty glass. Exit. But before they can take a step, Finn tugs her hand again. He forces her to lean in. His lips almost touch her ear. His whisper is barely audible, but his words are clear and frighteningly mature. "Quote 0, he whispers. Quote 1. Taylor looks into his serious, dark eyes. There's no childish panic in them. There's knowledge. A terrifying knowledge. Unsuitable for a 5-year-old. "They followed your dad today? At the mall?" she asks quietly. Finn nods. "They came. Dad hid me by the fountain. He told me to wait. He would take them. Then he would come back. So it wasn't just an accidental loss. It was a plan. The father used his child as bait, or as a way to hide him. And something went wrong. He didn't come back. And the bad guys found Finn first." An icy terror gripped her. She hadn't just dragged a lost boy into her. She had dragged herself into some dangerous adult game. And those adults had just been a few steps away. "Okay," she says, her voice shaking. "We're running. And we're silent. Hold on tight." She pushes the heavy door open. A sharp alarm sounds from above. Not a loud siren, but a shrill, high-pitched squeak, like a store alarm. They slip outside, and the door slams behind them. They're standing in the backyard of a shopping center. It's a dumpster and unloading area. Tall iron fences, asphalt covered in dirty puddles. The air smells of rotting food and gasoline. The night is cold. Taylor is wearing just a t-shirt, but she doesn't feel the cold. Adrenaline is blazing in her veins. The alarm keeps beeping. It'll attract attention. "We need to leave. Now." She looks around. The sounds of cars are coming from the parking lot. The main streets are there, but those people could be there too. They could surround the building. "Do you know where your home is, Finn?" she asks quickly, curtsying in front of him. "Can you show me the way?" Finn looks at the tall buildings around him, frowning. He slowly shakes his head. "We arrived by car. Dark, big, no car, no address, no phone number. Just a little boy, a dinosaur, and 2 pursuers somewhere nearby." Taylor makes a split-second decision. She can't leave him here. She can't take him to the police because those guards might be connected to them. The thought doesn't even cross her mind after Finn's words. She can't wait here like a mouse in a trap. "Come with me," she says. "I'll take you somewhere safe. Then we'll find your dad. Okay?" Finn looks at her, his eyes filled with trust and fear. He nods again. She picks him up. He's not heavy, but combined with the adrenaline-fueled weakness, the effort is difficult. She runs not toward the main street, but along a high fence, into a narrow alley between 2 buildings. This is the path to the residential areas, to her part of the city. She runs until she's out of breath. Then she slows to a quick walk, still carrying Finn. After a few blocks, she stops, leaning against the cold wall of an old house. She's out of breath. Her heart is pounding. Finn is silent. He simply wraps his arms around her neck and holds on tight. Taylor lowers him to the ground. They're in a quiet, dimly lit neighborhood. Old houses, a couple of working streetlights, not a soul in sight. "It's okay," she says. more to herself than to him. We'll, we'll think about it now. She needs to know something about the boy, something that will help her find his father. She looks at his red sweatshirt. Finn, do you have anything in your pockets? Maybe a note from Dad? A business card? Finn reaches into his jeans pocket. He pulls out a crumpled paper napkin and 2 green-wrapped lollipops. He shrugs. Taylor looks at the small jacket he's wearing under his sweatshirt. It's thin, dark blue and looks expensive. It even has pockets. Can I check here? She points to the pocket on her chest. Finn nods. Taylor carefully unzips the pocket. The inside is empty, but there is an inner pocket. She runs her fingers inside, feels cold metal. She pulls out a key. Not an ordinary house key. It's a plastic key card, the kind you get at fancy hotels. It's black and matte. There's no hotel name on it, just a silver number, 814, and a logo, a stylized underscore underscore quote underscore one underscore underscore in a circle. She knows that logo. Quote 2, the most expensive hotel in town. It's on the other side of town, right by the river. The room cards there are exactly like that. Minimalist, no name, just for the in-house staff. What's a room key at Aurora doing in a 5-year-old's pocket? It's from the hotel, Taylor says quietly, more to herself. Do you live there? Finn looks at the key, then shakes his head. We've been there. Sometimes. Dad said it was a safe house. Quote 3. Another strange adult phrase from his lips. Taylor clutches the key in her fist. At least it's a clue. But going there now, across town, with a child in her arms, when they might be hunted? It's madness. She checks her pocket again. There's something else in there. A small, flat rectangle. She takes out her phone. It's simple, black, and has no buttons. It's a touch screen, but an older model. The screen is off. She presses the side button. The screen lights up. The wallpaper is a photograph. It shows Finn, even smaller, laughing. A man is holding him on his shoulders. The man has his back to the camera, so only the back of his head, with its dark, neatly trimmed hair, and the strong nape of his neck, are visible. They are against the backdrop of the sea. There's no password on the lock screen. Just the words underscore, quote underscore 0 underscore Taylor swipes. The main screen opens. It contains only 4 icons, quote 1, quote 2, quote 3, and quote 4. She clicks quote 5. The list is empty, completely empty. Just one entry at the very top. Dad. That's all. Taylor looks at that number. It's her only link, her only way to connect with this child's world. Finn, she says carefully. I'll call your dad. Now. Okay? The boy's eyes widen. He nods vigorously, and for the first time, hope glimmers in them. Taylor presses the contact, brings the phone to her ear, listens to the long beeps. 1, 2, 3. On the 4th ring, the call ends. The receiver is picked up. Silence. Complete silence on the line. No quote 6, no question. Just silence and even breathing. Taylor knows she must speak first. Quote 7, she says, her voice hoarse from running. Quote 8. Another second of silence. Then a voice. Male, low, calm to the point of unnaturalness. There is no alarm or panic in it. Is he okay? Yes, he's fine. We're safe. Where are you? Exact location. His tone leaves no room for emotion. This isn't a question from a father sobbing with relief. It's a request for data. Taylor looks around, trying to figure out where they are. Old Town. Street, Chestnut, I think. Next to a blue 3-story house with white shutters. Are you alone? Yes, just Finn and me. Were there other people nearby? Did someone try to talk to him? Take him away? Taylor remembers the guards. A chill runs down her spine. Yes, at the mall. 2 of them in security uniforms. They were, persistent. We left. There was a short but heavy pause on the other end. Did they see you? Your face? I think yes. Did they see which way you went? I don't know. Possibly. Another pause. She hears typing on the other end. Quick, clipped sounds on a keyboard. Okay, says the voice. Still dead calm. Listen carefully. I know this place. 2 streets away from you. On the corner of Elm and 6th, there's a 24-hour cafe called Jack's. Is it open now? Taylor looks up the street. Yes, she knows that cafe. Cheap, with a faded sign. She sometimes gets coffee there before her morning shift. Yes, it is always open. Go there. Sit by the window, in the very corner, where you can be seen from the street but not heard. Order something hot for Finn. Anything for yourself. I'm on my way. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Taylor nods, though he can't see it. Okay, we're going. One more thing. His voice grows harder, metallic. Don't try to call the police. Don't tell anyone. Not the cafe clerk, not random passers-by. Is that clear? This is not a request. It is an order. I see, Taylor says quietly. Keep the phone on. Tell Finn that Dad will be here soon. Click. Connection interrupted. Taylor slowly lowers the phone. She looks at Finn. He looks at her, expectantly. Your dad. He'll be there soon. He found us. He told us to go to the cafe and wait. A smile blossoms on Finn's face. Pure, childish joy. He didn't hear the cold tone. He doesn't understand the strangeness of this conversation. He simply heard, Dad is coming. Taylor tries to smile back, but it doesn't come off. Her insides tighten into a cold, heavy knot. His father's voice. It sounded less like a frightened parent and more like a commander giving orders in a war zone. And that warning about the police, it wasn't like, quote, 0, it was like, quote, 1, who is this person? And what did she get herself into? Jack's cafe smells of old oil, coffee, and dish soap. The floor is sticky linoleum. The tables are plastic. An elderly man in a stained apron dozes behind the counter. Taylor leads Finn to the far corner, by the window, as instructed. She sits with her back to the wall so she can see both the entrance and the street. She orders hot chocolate and a slice of apple pie for Finn and black coffee for herself. She doesn't feel like eating or drinking, but she has to pretend. Finn sits opposite, his small hands wrapped around the mug. He sips chocolate, leaving a white mustache on his upper lip. He's tired. His eyelids are heavy, but he fights sleep to wait for his dad. Taylor keeps her eyes on the street. Her leg twitches nervously under the table. Every passing car makes her flinch. She's waiting for a black SUV like the one the security guards drove, or any other car that slows down outside the cafe. 10 minutes pass. 15. And then she sees him. Not a black SUV, a large, dark gray car, expensive and powerful as a tank. It doesn't pull up to the cafe. It slowly creeps past on the opposite side of the street. The speed is minimal. The windows are tinted black, making it impossible to see who's inside. The car drives past and disappears around the corner. Taylor freezes. Her fingers grip the hot mug so tightly that coffee spills onto the saucer. Is this them? Did they find them? Or are these his people? His father's? She doesn't know. She feels like a cornered animal. 5 minutes later, the car returns. Slowly again. And again it passes by. Reconnaissance. They're checking the area, looking for an ambush, or simply making sure they're alone. Finn doesn't notice the car. He's almost asleep, his head resting on the table next to his plate. Taylor wants to get up, grab him, and run out the back door. But where? And what if it's his father? She'll remain seated. This is the agony of anticipation. Exactly 20 minutes after the call, as if by a stopwatch, another car appears on the street. It's black, but it's not an SUV. It's a low, sleek sedan that glides silently to the curb and stops right in front of the cafe. The windows are tinted too. The driver's door opens. A man gets out. He's about 30, tall, wearing an expensive but discreet dark coat. His movements are economical and precise. He doesn't look around. He looks straight out the cafe window, straight at Taylor. Then his gaze shifts to the sleeping Finn. His face, it doesn't express any strong emotions. It's focused, heavy. There's sharpness in his cheekbones, a straight nose, thin lips. He's handsome, but his beauty lacks warmth. This is the face of a man accustomed to controlling everything, including his feelings. He enters the cafe. The bell above the door jingles. The clerk behind the counter opens one eye and closes it again. A man walks between the tables, his steps silent on the linoleum. He approaches their table. Finn wakes up from some kind of internal feeling. He looks up, blinking, and then he sees him. Dad! His sleepy face lights up. He slides out of his chair and rushes towards the man. The father leans down and scoops him up into his arms. He holds his son tightly, almost too tightly. He closes his eyes for a second. It's the only moment when a crack appears in his stony face. A quick, barely noticeable flash of something real. Relief, horror, love. Then he regains control. Quote 1, he says quietly to Finn, stroking his red hair. Quote 2, his eyes lift to Taylor's. 2, they are dark and piercing, like 2 pieces of black obsidian. He pulls Finn to his feet, but doesn't let go, keeping his hand on his shoulder. Miss Taylor, he says. He knows her name. She didn't give it to him on the phone. He probably got it from the center's administration, where she called. Or somehow else. Thank you for calling, and for staying with him. His words are correct. Gratitude. but they are spoken in the same flat, emotionless tone as on the phone. It is a formality, a ritual. It's normal, Taylor manages to say. She feels uneasy under his gaze. He's looking her over like an object, her face, her work uniform, her frightened eyes. He's not just looking, he's scanning, looking for weaknesses, looking for lies, looking for motives. You were very brave, he says, especially considering the circumstances. Did he tell you about those people? He looks at Finn. Finn presses himself against his leg. He said they were bad, that they were always watching you. Something flickers across the man's face. Satisfaction? That the child has remembered the lesson? Quote 2, he says shortly. Quote 3. What does this mean? That there was a risk of calling the wrong person? Quote 4, Taylor says. Quote 5, he replies. His gaze finally breaks away from hers. He puts his hand in his coat pocket. He takes out not a wallet, but a flat white envelope made of thick paper. He places it on the table between the cups. The envelope is unsealed, and the edges of the banknotes are visible from the open edge. Lots of banknotes, all in large denominations. Quote 6, he says. Quote 7. Taylor looks at the envelope. She's never seen so much cash in her life. It's more than she earns in 6 months of cleaning. Maybe a year. Her first reaction is to recoil, her hand jerking back reflexively. No, she says quickly, almost sharply. That's not necessary. I didn't do it for money. He looks at her. For the first time in the entire conversation, his stony expression changes. A slight, barely perceptible surprise appears. His eyebrows rise slightly. He clearly didn't expect a refusal. He looks at her silently for a few seconds, assessing her. You refuse? He asks again, as if checking if he heard correctly. Yes, Taylor says, her voice harder than she feels. The money smells of danger. By accepting it, she'll be putting her stamp on this story, becoming part of something, and that something scares her. I just helped the kid, that's all. He nods slowly, still studying her. Then he picks up the envelope from the table and puts it back in his inside pocket. The action is slow, deliberate. Quote 0, he asks unexpectedly. The question takes her by surprise. No, I mean, I have a brother, but we're not very close. He lives in another state. Is working as a cleaner a permanent job? Taylor feels herself blush. She feels ashamed, but she nods. Yes, in different places, in shifts. Today's shift didn't end quite well, he states. Because of us. You probably left your equipment behind. You could have gotten into trouble with management. She hadn't thought about it, but he was right. Her cart with all her equipment was left by the fountain. She'd ruined her shift. Tomorrow there would be questions, possibly a reprimand, or even dismissal. I'll figure it out, she says uncertainly. He looks at Finn, who is quietly playing with a dinosaur on the floor, then back at Taylor. I have another proposition for you, he says. My name is Adrian. As you understand, the current situation is unstable. Those people failed today. They will try again. I need a safe, discreet place for Finn for a few days, and someone to stay with him. Someone who has already proven themselves cool-headed and trustworthy. He pauses, letting her understand. Are you asking me to be a nanny? Taylor says, not believing her ears. Temporary. A few days, a week, until I sort out some issues. You'll live in a safe place. You'll get paid, of course, several times more than you earn now, and you won't have to explain away a missed shift. It sounds absurd, wild, suspicious to the point of horror. Hiring a random cleaning lady you met in a cafe late at night as a nanny? Why me? Taylor blurts out. You don't know me. I have no experience with children. There are plenty of nannies and agencies. Because you've been there before, Adrian says clearly. You've seen these people. You know they're serious. And you turned down the money. That's more important to me than any recommendation. You're not looking for profit. You helped when it was needed. Now it's needed again. For Finn. He looks at his son, and Taylor sees Finn's gaze flicker from his father to her. A quiet hope appears in his eyes. He's already grown attached to her over this strange night. She's his savior, his anchor in this chaos. Taylor wants to say no, scream no, run away from here and never look back. But where will she run? She has $30 in her pocket until payday, which is now in doubt. The rent is due in 3 days. The utilities are due in a week. Her old phone is about to break. Her car won't start in cold weather. She lives paycheck to paycheck, on the edge. One unpaid shift, one reprimand, and she'll fall into the abyss. She's been there before, in debt, in despair, endlessly searching for any kind of work. And here, Here, she's being offered a way out. A strange, frightening one, but a way out nonetheless. Money, a roof over her head, and the feeling that she's needed, that she can protect this boy who trustingly squeezes her hand in the darkness. She looks at Adrian, at his impassive face. He presses on. He knows she has no good options. Underscore quote, underscore zero, underscore, she asks quietly. They won't find him. The place is safe. I'll provide security. Your job is to stay with him, feed him, play with him, watch over him, and don't contact anyone. No calls to your brother, no friends, no social media, complete silence, for a few days. Taylor looks at Finn. He's tired, scared, but he's here with his dad, and he looks at her as if she's part of his salvation. She hates herself at this moment. She hates her weakness, her poverty, which forces her to even consider this. But she looks at the empty wallet of her life, at the pile of unpaid bills, at the fear of tomorrow, and she nods slowly, almost invisibly. Okay, she whispers, for a few days. Adrian doesn't smile. He simply nods, as if signing a business contract. The right decision. The car is waiting. We'll pick up your things on the way. He picks Finn up and turns to leave. Taylor stands, her legs weak. She follows them, feeling the door to her old, hard yet familiar life slam shut with the soft click of the bell above the cafe entrance. The car stops not at a private home, but at a tall, modern building in a quiet business district. It's not a home. It's a penthouse at the very top of a glass-fronted tower. Adrian leads them through a private entrance, past the concierge desk, who merely nods silently. They take the elevator with its biometric scanner. The elevator moves silently and quickly. The door opens directly into the apartment. Taylor freezes in the doorway. She's never seen anything like it. A spacious open space, high ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering night city. Every surface is white, gray, and black. Smooth concrete floors, matte walls, cool metal. No rugs, no paintings, no unnecessary objects. Furniture is minimal. A low sofa, a glass table, a few chairs. Everything looks new, never used. The air smells not of food or life, but of filtered air conditioning and a light ozone of purity. This isn't a living space. It's a sterile box. A bunker with a view. Quote zero, Adrian says, oblivious to her shock. He leads them down a wide corridor. He shows Finn the room. It's also minimalist, but there's a bed shaped like a race car, a shelf with a few books, and a box of construction toys. There are few toys. They're all new, still in their packaging. S-room, spacious, with its own bathroom. There's a bed, a closet, and an empty desk. Several sets of simple but high-quality clothes, pants, t-shirts, sweaters, are stacked on the bed. All are about her size. The groceries are arriving tomorrow, Adrian says. You're free to use the kitchen. Cook your own meals. The menu is whatever Finn likes. He says it as if he's briefing a new employee. Taylor just nods. Adrian looks at Finn, who has already climbed onto the racing bed and is looking around the room with interest. I won't always be here. I have business. You are safe. Don't open the door to anyone but me. All questions through this one. He places a simple black handset with no buttons on the console in the hallway. To call, just pick up the receiver. I'll connect you only to me. He looks at them both again, nods, and goes back into the living room. A minute later, Taylor hears the door to the study close. She remains standing in the hallway, listening to the silence of this vast, empty space. Finn emerges from his room and approaches her silently, taking her hand. He, too, seems uncomfortable in this cold luxury. The morning starts strangely. Taylor wakes up in an unfamiliar, all-too-quiet room. She goes into the kitchen and finds the refrigerator completely stocked with groceries. Everything is fresh and expensive. Fruits, vegetables, meat, juices. Everything a child could want. Adrian is already in the cafeteria. He's drinking black coffee and looking at his tablet. He's wearing a dark business suit, but no jacket. He's not wearing a tie. Sit down, he says, not taking his eyes off the screen. Eat. Then we need to talk. Taylor wakes Finn up and makes him a simple breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast. Adrian himself eats nothing. As Finn busily fiddles with his food, Adrian puts down his tablet. He looks at Taylor. The situation remains tense, he begins without preamble. Therefore, there are rules. There are 3 of them. Remember. Taylor puts down her spoon, nods. First, don't ask questions. Not to me, not to Finn about family matters, not to anyone else who might show up here. Curiosity is a luxury you can't afford right now. Ignore what you don't need to know. His gaze is hard and does not allow for objections. Second, stay away from the panoramic windows in the living room, especially in the evening and at night. The curtains will close automatically at 7 in the evening. Don't open them. You can use the windows in your rooms. They have different glass, but that's also not necessary. Taylor understands. Windows are a vulnerability. They can be seen through, or they can be used to shoot. The thought makes her swallow. Third, never be late. If I say be at a certain place at a certain time, you must be there. If Finn needs to be in bed by 9, he must be in bed by 9. Precision and predictability are safety. Chaos and tardiness are risk. He pauses to make sure she understands. That's all. Your job is to ensure Finn has a normal daily routine. Games, meals, walks on the enclosed rooftop terrace. Nothing more. I'll take care of everything else. Any questions? Taylor has a million questions. Who are these people? What do they want? How long will this last? What happens if the rules are broken? But she remembers rule number 1. Don't ask questions. No questions, she says quietly. Okay, Adrian nods. He stands up. I'll be gone until this evening. You'll be fine. He leaves, and a minute later, the sound of the front door closing is heard. Taylor sits at the table, feeling 3 new rules bind her like invisible chains. This house is not a refuge. It's the most beautiful prison she's ever seen. The day passes slowly. Taylor explores the house. It's huge but empty. Many rooms are unfurnished. A gigantic living room where you can't go near the windows. A gym with new equipment. Even a cinema room with a huge screen. She and Finn are playing with construction sets. They're strolling on the rooftop terrace. It's really enclosed by tall glass panels and plants. You can see the entire city from up there, but no one can see you. Finn is quiet. He's used to this kind of place. You can tell. He doesn't run around or scream. He plays calmly, sometimes coming up to Taylor and just sitting next to her. In the afternoon, the doorbell rings softly. Taylor jumps. Adrian told her not to open the door. A screen lights up on the wall next to the door. It shows an image of the outside hallway. A man in a delivery uniform stands there. Next to him is a large cardboard box. Quote 0, the man says into the intercom. Taylor doesn't know what to do. She looks at the black receiver to call Adrian, but she doesn't dare disturb him. The screen goes dark. A few minutes later, her intercom rings. She picks it up. This is Adrian. You can accept the delivery. These are toys for Finn. Have them brought into the hallway. Okay, Taylor says. She opens the door remotely. The courier brings the box in and leaves. Taylor opens it. Inside are several new toys. A set of toy soldiers, a puzzle, a book about dinosaurs, and a large, black, radio-controlled Jeep with bright headlights. Finn squeals with joy as he rushes toward the Jeep. He immediately begins playing with it, racing it around the polished concrete floor. Careful, Finn, Taylor says. Don't break it. It's from Uncle Carter, the boy says happily, without looking up from the remote. Taylor freezes. From whom? From Uncle Carter. He always gives the best toys. He's funny. Taylor looks at the expensive toy. _quote_3_ a family friend? A relative? His name wasn't in the rules, but something inside her lurches. Why would a family friend give gifts when the father is hiding the child? Is that normal? She decides not to think about it. Rule number 1, don't ask questions. A few days pass. The routine becomes familiar. Morning, breakfast, games, a walk on the terrace, lunch, nap time, more games, dinner, bath time, nap time. Adrian shows up every evening. He dines with them, asks Finn about his day, and has a brief, to-the-point conversation with Taylor. Then he retires to his office. He's always polite, but cold. A wall. Taylor begins to understand that Finn is the only one who sees a living person behind that wall. One evening, after dinner, when Adrian is already in the office and Taylor is washing the dishes, she hears a sound. Not a bell, not a knock. The click of the electronic lock on the front door. Then the creak of the door opening. Someone has come in, and that someone has a key or a code. Taylor wipes her hands and walks out of the kitchen into the hallway. Finn, sitting in the living room with the Jeep, also freezes and looks at the entrance. There's a man standing in the hallway. He's not Adrian's age, but he looks different. He's also well-dressed. Expensive sneakers, trendy dark jeans, a black turtleneck, and a leather jacket. He has light, almost sandy blonde hair slicked back and an open, smiling face. He looks confident and relaxed. Hey, kid, he says when he sees Finn. His voice is loud and cheerful. "How's my racer doing? Do you like the car?" "Uncle Carter!" Finn smiles and runs towards him. Carter leans down, picks the boy up, and spins him around in the air. Finn laughs. Then Carter looks up and sees Taylor. His smile doesn't fade, but it changes. Curiosity takes over. Interest. He slowly sets Finn down. Quote 3, he asks, his eyes gliding over Taylor from head to toe. His gaze isn't harsh, but it's appraising. Too attentive. "This is Taylor," Finn says seriously. "She's my nanny. She saved me." "Really?" Carter steps forward toward Taylor. He extends his hand. "Carter, an old family friend. Nice to meet you." Taylor shakes his hand reluctantly. His handshake is firm, warm. He holds her hand a second longer than necessary. "Taylor," she says shortly. "New staff?" Carter asks, still smiling. "Adrian didn't say anything, but I see it's an excellent choice." Finn is clearly pleased. His tone is friendly, but there's something in his eyes. A sharp, penetrating glint. He studies her, as he might an interesting exhibit. Taylor says, breaking the look. Carter laughs. Quote 5. He lets go of her hand and turns to Finn, but Taylor feels his attention still riveted on her. He didn't come here without a reason, and his visit wasn't arranged. She can feel it. Carter walks into the living room, joking with Finn. Then, with a casual gesture, he heads for the study door. He doesn't knock. He simply presses the handle and enters, closing the door behind him. Taylor stands in the kitchen, pretending to be busy. But she's listening. At first, the voices are muffled. Then they become louder. She can't distinguish the words, but the tone is clear. Carter speaks quickly, confidently. Adrian's answers are short and clipped. Then there's a bang. Not a crash, but a dull thud, like a fist hitting a table. Adrian's voice bursts from behind the door, and this time it's clear. It's filled with a restrained, cold fury. "None of your business! You crossed the line!" Carter's voice in response sounds calmer, almost mocking. Adrian's voice again, quieter, but even more frightening. "And that this never happens again. Understood? Get out!" There's silence behind the door for a few seconds. Then the door opens abruptly. Carter comes out. His smiling face now has a strange expression, embarrassment mixed with irritation. He sees Taylor and his eyes narrow for a moment. Then he forces a smile again, but it's not as wide. Quote 0, he says to her, as if reassuring her. Quote 1. He waves at Finn and quickly heads for the exit. The door closes behind him. A minute later, Adrian comes out. His face is an icy mask. He looks at Taylor. Quote 2. "Okay," Taylor says, her heart pounding. "And the toy he gave me? Take it away. Tell Finn it's broken." He doesn't explain. He turns and goes back into the office, this time locking the door. Taylor looks at the black Jeep Finn is happily playing with. A cold fear begins to creep into her soul. What's so special about this toy? And what line has Carter crossed? The next day, Adrian leaves early in the morning. He leaves instructions over the phone. Clean the office. Usually, someone else does this. But today, that person didn't show up. Taylor doesn't want to go into the office. The place feels like a no-go zone, but orders are orders. The office is as minimalist as the rest of the house. A large ebony desk, 2 chairs, and built-in closets. No papers or computers in sight. Everything is clean. She carefully dusts and washes the glass tabletop. Then she notices a crumpled ball of paper under the table, near the leg. It must have fallen out of the trash can that had already been taken out. She picks it up to throw it away. But the paper is thick, expensive. There's something printed on it. Almost automatically, she smooths the sheet out on the table. This isn't a document. It's a printout of some kind of report or certificate. At the top is the logo of a private detective agency. Below is a column of data, and one name and address immediately catches her eye. Taylor Monroe. Last place of work, Crystal Shopping Center, Clean City Cleaning Service. Address, 4400 Central Avenue. Further details follow. Her date of birth, inaccurate. Her old phone number, no longer active. Description, African American, 26 years old, height 5 feet 7 inches, dark hair, curly. Her world is turned upside down. This isn't just information. It's a report on her, the detective agency. Adrian checked her out, deeply, and he did it almost immediately after their meeting, possibly that same night. She understands. It's logical. He couldn't trust her with his son without knowing who she was. But that doesn't make it any easier. Seeing his life reduced to dry lines on paper, in the office of a man who holds her hostage to luxury, and then her gaze falls on the bottom of the page. There's a handwritten note there. It's in a clear, masculine handwriting. Unlike Adrian's, she'd seen it on the grocery list. Carter, background, done. Nothing criminal. Debts. Brother is a problem. Can be used. Blood is pounding in Taylor's temples. Carter. This man was also given a report on her. Can be used. What does that mean? Use as a nanny? Or something else? And her brother? How is he involved in this? He lives 1,000 miles away and hasn't spoken to her in years. She looks at the crumpled paper in her shaking hand. She should throw it away. Pretend she didn't see anything. Rule number 1, don't ask questions. But the fear is different. It's not fear of the unknown. It's fear that she's learned something. And this knowledge is dangerous. She slowly, carefully, crumples the sheet of paper back into the same ball. She takes it to the kitchen and burns it in the sink, burning the ashes and flushing them down the drain. She washes her hands. They tremble. She doesn't ask questions. But now her own head asks her questions, and there are no answers. 2 days later, Adrian tells her she can go to her place for a few hours to pick up her personal belongings. Under surveillance. The same car with the dark windows comes to pick her up. The driver is a silent man in a dark suit. He takes her to her poor neighborhood, to her old house, and waits in the car by the side of the road. Taylor feels strange entering her tiny, run-down apartment after the sterile cleanliness of the penthouse. Everything seems small, poor, and dusty. She quickly packs her bag, a few of her clothes, a photo of her mother, a few books. She's in a hurry. She feels uncomfortable here. She already feels like an outsider. As she steps out, bag slung over her shoulder, she spots a taxi. It's parked across the street, engine running. The driver sits behind the wheel, his face in shadow. She gets into a black sedan. The car drives away. She looks in the side mirror. The taxi starts moving and follows them. At first, she thinks it's a coincidence, but on the third turn, the taxi is still there. It keeps 2 or 3 cars behind, but doesn't fall behind. It looks like they're following us, she says quietly to the driver. The driver looks in the mirror. His face is expressionless. I know, he says shortly. Don't worry. He doesn't change a route. He doesn't try to break away. He just drives calmly, as if he was expecting this. The taxi follows them through the city until they arrive at a tower with a penthouse. The driver pulls into an underground parking garage with a barrier. The taxi drives past without turning, but Taylor notices. As the taxi passes under a streetlight, the light briefly falls on the face of the passenger in the back seat. Not the driver, the passenger. He has light hair that is slicked back. Carter. He simply watched, monitored her little foray into the real world, like a predator watching its prey. A cold sweat breaks out on Taylor's back. She didn't tell Adrian she took the report from the office. But what if Carter knows? What if it was a test or a warning? You're being watched, the report would say. And it would be right. Back at the penthouse, Taylor tries to act normal. She plays with Finn, she cooks dinner. But inside, everything is clenched into a tight ball of fear. That evening, when Finn is already asleep and Adrian is in the study, the kitchen faucet breaks. It's not just dripping. It's starting to spurt out a thin stream of water. Taylor tries to tighten it, but the old seal has completely disintegrated. Water floods the sink. She's panicking. She doesn't know what to do. Call a plumber? But that would mean letting a stranger in. A security breach. She decides to call Adrian on the intercom. She picks up the receiver, and the connection is established automatically. What's the matter? His voice is collected. Sorry to bother you. The faucet in the kitchen is broken. It's leaking badly. I don't know how to fix it. A short pause. Close the main valve under the sink. I'll send someone. She finds the valve and turns off the water. Half an hour passes. The intercom rings. On the screen is a man in a simple blue uniform with a toolbox. His face is serious, unfamiliar. Adrian leaves the office and unlocks the door remotely. He stands in the hallway, watching as the plumber enters. Quote 1. Adrian tells him. His tone leaves no room for discussion. The plumber nods silently. He goes into the kitchen, where Taylor is waiting. He doesn't even look at her. He opens his toolbox, takes out his tools and a new gasket. His movements are quick, precise, professional. In 5 minutes, he replaces the gasket, checks the faucet, and everything works. He wipes all surfaces dry and gathers his tools. Adrian watches from the doorway. When the plumber finishes, he nods toward the exit. The bill is the same as usual, Adrian says. The plumber nods again and heads for the door. Taylor, feeling the need to say something, mumbles, "Thank you." The plumber pauses at the threshold. He turns his head and looks directly at Taylor for the first time. His gaze is quick but intense. Then he glances at Adrian, who has already turned his back, heading back to the office. At that moment, while Adrian isn't looking, the plumber makes a barely perceptible movement. He tilts his head slightly toward Taylor and speaks so quietly it sounds more like an exhalation. But the words are clear. Stay away from the host's guests, especially from Carter. And then he walks out, and the door closes quietly behind him. Taylor stands in the kitchen, alone, amid the now gleaming surfaces. The dripping water has stopped, but the plumber's words ring louder in her ears than any torrent. This wasn't friendly advice. It was a warning from someone who works for Adrian. So, inside this safe place, people know something, and they're afraid, especially Carter. She looks at the office door where Adrian is hiding. He's her employer. He keeps her safe. But he also brought her into this world where you're watched, where your life is printed on paper and family friends come knocking and anger you. Who can you trust here? She looks down the quiet hallway leading to the room where Finn sleeps. Only him. Only this small, trusting boy, for whom all this began, now seems the only real, unfeigned person in this whole cold, beautiful trap. Several days pass after the plumber's visit. His words hang in the air like a toxic fog. Taylor becomes even more cautious. She avoids even looking toward the office. Adrian is acting as usual, cold and collected. There's no hint that he knows about the meeting with Carter or the burned report. He allows them to go to a small private park next to the tower. It's a gated area owned by the complex's residents. There's a playground, paths, and benches. Everything is monitored by cameras. Adrian considers it safe. One afternoon, Taylor takes Finn to the park in a small, collapsible stroller she's been given. Finn barely needs it anymore, but it makes it easier to control his movements. The park is almost empty. A couple walking their dogs in the distance, a nanny with a child by the sandbox. Taylor sits on a bench and watches Finn climb a small slide. The sun is shining, but she doesn't feel its warmth. She keeps looking around. A man sits down next to her. He's middle-aged, wearing a casual windbreaker and baseball cap. He's sitting at the other end of the bench, taking out his phone and pretending to read something. Taylor tenses but doesn't move. Maybe he's just relaxing. Then Finn calls her over to show her how he rolled. She turns away for a few seconds to smile and wave at him. When she looks back at the bench, the man is gone. He walks slowly, not even looking in her direction. But where he sat there was a small brown envelope. Taylor takes it slowly. The envelope is unsealed. There's no letter inside. There's a photograph. An old photograph worn around the edges. It's of her and her brother Michael. She was about 16, he was 18. They're standing in front of their ramshackle house, both smiling, their hands on each other's shoulders. This was before everything went wrong. Before the debts, before the arguments, before he left. Her breath caught in her throat. How did this photo get here? She hadn't seen it for years. She thought it was lost. She turns the photo over. On the back, in blue ink, is written, quote, 0. Taylor's heart skips a beat, then starts to race. Duty, deadline, Phoenix. This is the city where her brother lives. This is not a random find. This is a message. She jumps up, looking around. The man in the baseball cap is gone, but she notices him. He's standing at the park exit, leaning against a tree. He's looking straight at her. Taylor hesitates for a second. Then, forcing a smile, she tells Finn to play for another minute. She's right there. She approaches the tree, clutching the photograph in her clenched hand. "What is this?" she hisses, trying to keep her voice firm. "Where did you get this?" The man doesn't smile. His face expresses nothing. "Mr. Carter wants to talk to you," he says quietly, in a quick, lifeless tone. "About your brother. About his situation." "What situation? What did you do with Michael?" "We haven't done anything. Not yet. But his creditors, they're an impatient bunch. $45,000 is a lot of money for them. The deadline is in 10 days. They won't stand on ceremony." Taylor felt the ground shift beneath her. Michael, the eternal loser, always getting into trouble. He said something about bad investments, but she brushed it off, tired of his problems. What does this have to do with me? And what does this have to do with Carter? Mr. Carter can resolve this issue. He can pay off the debt. Or he can let these people know where to find Michael so they can talk things out their way. The choice is yours. "This is blackmail," Taylor breathes out. The man shrugs almost imperceptibly. "It's a conversation. You come, you listen to his proposal. No big deal. A simple conversation. You get the photograph back, and guarantees for your brother. You don't come, he doesn't finish the sentence. He just looks at her. The address and time are on the back of the photograph under the inscription, "Come alone. Don't tell anyone, especially Adrian. Otherwise, your brother will be the first to know about your choice." He pushes off from the tree and walks away without looking back. Taylor clutches the photo so tightly the edges dig into her palm. She returns to the bench, smiling automatically at Finn. She's shaking inside. Under the debt notice, she notices small, almost invisible numbers written in the same blue. An address. And the time, today, 11 p.m. Taylor has been acting like a robot all evening. She feeds Finn dinner, reads him a story, and puts him to bed. Her thoughts are elsewhere. Adrian doesn't show. He sent a message on the intercom that he'll be late. At 10:30 p.m., she makes sure Finn is fast asleep. She puts on a dark jacket and takes the apartment key card. Her heart is pounding. She's breaking all the rules. She's leaving alone, at night, on Carter's call. She takes the service elevator, which leads directly to the underground garage, bypassing the concierge. The garage is empty and quiet. She quickly walks to the street exit, feeling for the photograph in her pocket. The address leads her to an industrial area near the port. Abandoned warehouses, dark streets, and sparse streetlights. At the end of one of these streets, she sees a barely illuminated neon sign. Harbor Nightclub. The windows are painted black. The door is heavy, metal. It is ajar. Taylor walks inside. Total darkness and silence. The air smells of dust, old smoke, and mustiness. The streetlights shine through the cracks, revealing the outline of an empty bar, tables, and chairs stacked on the counter. The stage is empty. The music isn't playing. "I'm glad you decided to come," a voice says. The light from a table lamp flares in the far corner of the room. Carter is sitting at a round table. On it are a bottle and 2 glasses. He is dressed casually, but expensively. A dark shirt with an open collar. He smiles his wide, open smile, but in the dim light, it seems ominous. "Sit down, Taylor. Don't be afraid. You're safe." She slowly walks over and sits down on the chair opposite him. She places the crumpled photograph on the table. "What do you want?" Carter pours dark liquid into glasses. He pushes one towards her. "Have a drink. Relieve the tension." "I won't drink. Speak." He sighs like an adult facing a capricious child and pushes the glass away. "Okay. Straight to the point. I admire you, you know. You showed real character. You saved Finn. You turned down Adrian's money. Not many in your place would have done that." He pauses, studying her reaction. Taylor remains silent. "Quote 0. Quote 1, Taylor says, but there's no conviction in her voice. Carter laughs softly. "Protecting?" He hides. He locks you in a glass cage and thinks that's enough. He watches your every move. "Do you think I found out about your brother on my own?" "No. Adrian has a dossier on everyone who gets close to Finn. He knows all your weaknesses, and he uses them to keep you in line. Fear is his favorite glue." Taylor remembers the report in the office. The words, quote 2, whose handwriting was that? Carter's? Or did Adrian mark it that way for him? "What are you doing? Blackmailing me through my brother? Is that better?" "It's not blackmail," Carter corrects, placing his hand on his chest. "It's an invitation to cooperate. I'm offering you real protection and freedom. Adrian sees Finn only as an heir, a symbol. I see him as a child, and I see you as someone who cares for him." "What collaboration?" Taylor asks coldly. "Information," Carter says simply. "Nothing dangerous, just eyes and ears inside." Adrian is getting paranoid. He's making bad decisions. They're putting everyone at risk, including Finn. I need to know what's going on in the house, who he's seeing, what he's talking about, what he's planning. You tell me, and I guarantee your brother will be okay. In fact, I'm paying. Much more than Adrian. Enough to pay off Michael's debts and start a new life. Away from here. He pulls forward a small envelope, thicker than the one Adrian offered. He opens it slightly. Wads of banknotes. "It's an advance payment, for you to simply listen and remember." Taylor looks at the money, then at the photo of her brother, then at Carter's face. There's no warmth in his eyes. There's calculation and hunger. Hunger for what Adrian has. "What if I refuse? Will you hand Michael over to his creditors?" Carter throws up his hands. "I don't control these people. I can only ask them to wait, or not ask them. His fate, Taylor, is in your hands, as is your own. Adrian dragged you into our war. You have no neutrality. You must choose a side. I offer a side where you have a future, and where Finn will have a future with a man who doesn't hide him from the world, but is preparing to lead it. He leans forward again, his voice becoming confidential, almost friendly. Think about it. Not now. You have until tomorrow morning. Leave the phone on the nightstand in the hallway. If you agree, put the green napkin from the kitchen under it. If not, he touches the edge of his brother's photograph. Don't put anything under it, and I'll understand. He stands up. The car is waiting for you outside. It will take you back. No one will know about our meeting. Taylor stands slowly. She doesn't take the money. She only takes the photograph. She feels herself being torn apart. On one side is her brother, the money, the promise of freedom from Carter. On the other is Adrian, his cold control, and Finn, who trusts her, and the plumber's warning, quote, zero who to believe. The car drives her back silently. She enters the penthouse as quietly as she left. The hallway is dark and quiet. Adrian hasn't returned yet. She stands by the nightstand where the intercom lies. A green napkin, a simple signal. Her brother's life is against her soul. She can't make a decision. Not now. She's going to check on Finn. He's asleep, hugging his old green dinosaur. His face is calm, carefree. She's adjusting his blanket. Her hand accidentally brushes against his jacket, hanging over the back of a chair. Something falls out of his pocket. A piece of paper. Not an ordinary one. It's a child's drawing, done with colored pencils. It depicts 3 figures. A large black one, a medium-sized gray one, and a small red one. They stand under a rainbow. Primitive, but loving. Taylor picks up the drawing. She's about to put it back, but notices there's something on the back. Not words. Strange symbols, dots and dashes. They are arranged in neat lines. She blinks, confused. It looks like Morse code? But why? And then, at the very bottom, beneath the lines of dots and dashes, she sees another drawing. Tiny, barely outlined in pencil, a schematic image of a person, and an arrow pointing to him. This isn't just any man. He's wearing something like a crown or tiara on his head. And a signature, written in a child's uncertain hand. Dad, this is a message from Adrian, delivered through Finn, hidden in his pocket for all to see. But why is this so? Why not just say it? Because the house is bugged? Because he can't even be trusted with the intercom? She clutches the drawing. Instructions, warning, or a trap. She has to decipher this. She has to understand what her father is saying before she can choose between him and Carter. Taylor locks herself in her room with the drawing and her phone. She can't search Morse code online. Her internet access is likely monitored, but she doesn't need to. She remembers. Long ago, at children's camp, there was a game called _quote _1_. They were taught a simple code, not real Morse code, but a simplified children's version, where a dot is a short clap, a dash is a long one. They passed messages to each other this way. She looks at the first group of symbols. She starts mentally repeating it. Dot dash dot dot dot. Is that a letter? She draws the alphabet in her mind. A dot dash. B dash 3 dots. No, it doesn't match. Then it dawns on her. These aren't letters. They're numbers. In that childhood game, the dots and dashes represented numbers for coordinates. She quickly scribbles on a piece of paper, and then she understands. These aren't coordinates on a map. These are coordinates in the house itself, in a room. The penthouse has numbered rooms. The main door is 1. The living room is 2. The kitchen is 3. And so on. Finn's bedroom is 8. Her bedroom is 9. Adrian's office is 12. The hallway is 11. The walk-in closet is 15. He gives her the route, a sequence of rooms. 9, her room, to 15. Dressing room, to 8. Finn's room, 2. Then the second line, 9, her room again. 1, door. 11, hallway. 12, study. 11, hallway. And the third, 8, Finn's room. 3, kitchen. 12, study. This is nonsense, or is it? She looks at the first 3 numbers. 9, 15, 8. What if this isn't in order, but rather places where something is hidden, or where to look? She gets up. She has to check. Now, while Adrian is gone, she leaves the room. The first number is 9, her room. She searches it with her eyes. Where? A bed, a closet, a table? Her gaze falls on the ventilation grill near the ceiling. She'd never noticed it before. The grill appears clean, but one of the screwdrivers is slightly protruding. She stands on a chair and presses the screwdriver. The grate snaps open. Behind it, there's no ventilation, but a small niche. Inside lies a key, a regular metal key. The second number is 15, the walk-in closet next to Adrian's bedroom. She goes in. She sees shelves full of clothes. She's looking for something unusual. She sees an old, dusty suitcase on the top shelf. It has no number, but the tag says, quote, _0, _. She takes it down and opens it. Inside, under a false bottom, lies a folded map of the city. The port area is marked on it, and crossed out in red is the address of that very nightclub, quote, one he knew. Adrian knew Carter would call her there, or had he planned this place for something? The third number is 8, Finn's room. She enters. The boy is asleep. She looks around. Her gaze falls on a shelf of books. On the spine of one of the books is a sticker with the number 8. It's an old children's encyclopedia. She takes it out. Between the pages is a small, flat object. It's not a button. It's a miniature device, similar to a flash drive, but thinner. It has no markings. Taylor holds a key, a map, and a strange device. These aren't answers. They're new questions, coded for her by her father. He's not asking her to choose a side. He's giving her tools, and a map that shows he's aware of Carter's game. Is he testing her, or is he offering her a different path? Taylor returns to her room, hides her finds, and sits on her bed, clutching her head in her hands. There are 3 paths ahead of her. First, place the green napkin, accept Carter's offer, become his spy, save your brother, get the money, betray Adrian, and possibly endanger Finn. Trust the man everyone is warning you against. Second, don't put anything. Refuse Carter. Risk her brother's life. Stay with Adrian, who keeps her in the dark, watches her, and perhaps sees her only as a tool. Live in fear that the truth about the burned report or the meeting at the club will come out. Third, the path marked by dots and dashes. Trust no one completely. Use what Adrian gave her. Unravel his game. Protect Finn, following not orders, but the instincts that led her to him at the fountain. Risk everything, but retain control of her choices. She looks at Finn's drawing. 3 figures under a rainbow. The big black one, Adrian. The medium gray one, her. And the small red one, Finn. He drew them together, like a family. Finn didn't draw Carter. She thinks of the boy who whispered in the dark, quote, _0, _. She thinks of his trusting hand in hers. She thinks of his laughter on the playground, so genuine. She can't betray him. She can't trade his safety, even for her brother's. But she can't abandon him either. So there must be a third way, her own way. She gets up. She goes to the kitchen. She takes a green napkin. She returns to the hallway. She puts the napkin on the nightstand, but not on the phone. She places it next to her, in plain sight, as if it had fallen by accident. This is not an agreement. This is not a refusal. This is a message to Carter. Quote 1. This will give her time. Time to understand what kind of key, map, and device Adrian gave her. Time to decide if she can trust him even a little. Time to figure out how to save her brother without selling her soul. She looks at the closed door of Adrian's office, then at the dark screen of the intercom, where anyone could be, then into the hallway, where the child who has become the center of this storm sleeps. She took the first step into her own game. The game began.